Something happened in my office this week that made me angry. Not at my patient. At the food industry. At the labels. At the lie that has been sold to millions of people over 60 who are trying their absolute best to take care of their health. This woman came in doing everything she was told to do. She was eating the one food that every magazine, every commercial, every wellness blog says is the best thing you can put in your body for your gut. She ate it every single day, sometimes twice a day, because she believed she was healing herself. She was not healing. She was making it worse. Every single spoonful was feeding the exact problem she was trying to fix. When I explained this to her, she broke down in my office. She recorded this message for you because she does not want anyone else to go through what she went through. She did not want to be on camera, but she wanted you to hear this in her own voice.
I have been eating yogurt every single day for the past 5 years because I read that it was good for my gut. I buy the ones that say probiotics on the label. Strawberry, blueberry, vanilla, whatever is on sale. I thought I was doing the smartest thing I could do for my health. So can someone please explain to me why I cannot remember what I had for lunch yesterday? Why I called my son by my brother's name last week and did not even realize it until he corrected me? Why I wake up every morning feeling like my head is full of wet cotton. I am 66 years old, and I feel like my brain is 10 years older than my body. I have been eating this yogurt religiously for 5 years, and I am worse now than when I started. I do not understand. I did what I was supposed to do. What went wrong?
When she said I did what I was supposed to do, that sentence hit me harder than anything else she could have said. Because she was right. She did exactly what she was told. The problem is that what she was told was incomplete, and the part they left out is the part that is destroying the gut health and brain clarity of millions of people over 60 who think they are doing the right thing. My name is Dr. Margaret Whitmore. I have spent 32 years specializing in brain health and healthy aging for people over 60, with a particular focus on the connection between the gut and the brain. I started this channel because I believe the people who are trying the hardest to take care of their health deserve honesty, not marketing. What my patient just shared with you is something I encounter in my practice constantly. Good people, motivated people, people who go out of their way to eat what they believe is healthy, and they are getting worse instead of better because the food industry sold them a half-truth. Today, I am going to tell you the whole truth about yogurt, what makes it genuinely good for your gut and brain, what makes the version most people buy genuinely harmful, and exactly what to look for so you can turn this food from your worst enemy into your greatest ally. This might be the most important video you watch this year. Please stay with me until the end. I need to say something right at the start so there is no confusion. I am not against yogurt. Yogurt, in its true form, is one of the most powerful foods on the planet for gut health and brain health. It is genuinely remarkable. The problem is that the yogurt sitting in the refrigerator of most people over 60 right now is not true yogurt. It shares the name. It sits in the same section of the grocery store. It has the same basic shape on the shelf. What is inside that container, however, is a completely different product, and that difference is everything. Understanding it could change your mornings, your clarity, and your memory in ways that will genuinely surprise you. Not understanding it means you keep eating something every day that is actively working against the very goal you bought it for. Let me explain what happened to yogurt, because this is where the betrayal begins. Real yogurt, the kind that has existed for thousands of years, is a simple food. It is milk that has been fermented by living organisms. Those organisms are the entire point. They're what make yogurt valuable for your gut. When you eat real yogurt, you're delivering billions of living beneficial organisms directly into your digestive system, where they go to work supporting the community that produces the chemical messengers your brain depends on. That is why yogurt has its reputation. That reputation is earned. The problem is that the food industry looked at that reputation and saw an opportunity. They took yogurt and turned it into dessert. They added massive amounts of sugar, strawberry syrup, blueberry jam, vanilla flavoring, honey drizzle, cookie crumble, chocolate chips. They loaded it with artificial sweeteners, thickeners, stabilizers, and preservatives. They put the word probiotics on the label in big, confident letters, and they charged a premium for it. What they created looks like yogurt, tastes like yogurt, sits next to yogurt, and calls itself yogurt, but what it does inside your body is the opposite of what real yogurt does. It is a sugar bomb wrapped in a health claim, and millions of people over 60 eat it every single day believing they are healing their gut when they are actually poisoning it. I want to stop here because I know this might be hitting some of you hard right now. You might be looking at the screen thinking about the yogurt in your own refrigerator, the one you bought this week, the one you ate this morning. I know that feeling. I know the frustration of realizing that something you trusted was not what it seemed. So let me ask you this. Have you been eating flavored yogurt every day, believing it was one of the best things you could do for your gut and your brain? If that is you, leave a comment below. You can simply write, "I thought my yogurt was helping me." That is all. Because right now, someone else watching this video is feeling the same shock, the same quiet anger, and they need to know they are not the only one who is misled. Your comment could be the moment they stop feeling foolish and start feeling empowered. Please share if you can. Now let me show you exactly what happens inside your gut when you eat a cup of flavored, sweetened yogurt, because the process reveals why this food is so uniquely deceptive. Yes, there may be some living organisms in that yogurt. The label is not lying about that. The problem is what comes with them. A single serving of most flavored yogurts contains between 15 and 25 grams of added sugar. Some contain even more. When that sugar enters your gut alongside the beneficial organisms, something terrible happens. The sugar feeds the wrong organisms. It fuels the aggressive, harmful ones that thrive on sugar and produce inflammatory waste products. These organisms multiply explosively in the presence of that much sugar, and they overwhelm the very organisms that the yogurt was supposed to be delivering. Think of it this way. Imagine you are trying to plant flowers in a garden, but every time you put a flower in the ground, you also dump a bucket of fertilizer on the weeds surrounding it. The flower never has a chance. The weeds grow faster, stronger, and more aggressively, and they choke out the flower before it can take root. That is exactly what happens when you eat sweetened yogurt. The beneficial organisms are the flowers. The sugar is the weed fertilizer. You are planting and poisoning at the same time, and the poison wins every single time. The sugar in flavored yogurt does something else that is equally damaging, especially after 60. It attacks the protective lining inside your gut, the thin barrier that separates your digestive system from your bloodstream. This barrier is already more fragile after 60. It needs support, not assault. The concentrated sugar in every cup of flavored yogurt weakens the bonds between the cells that form this barrier, creating tiny gaps where harmful particles leak through into the bloodstream. Your body responds with silent inflammation that travels to the brain and creates the fog, the forgetfulness, the heavy, slow feeling that so many of my patients describe. Imagine hiring a security guard to protect your house, but every time he shows up for work, he brings 10 uninvited strangers with him who start breaking your windows. The guard is doing his job, but the damage from the people he brought with him far exceeds any protection he provides. That is flavored yogurt. The few beneficial organisms it delivers are real, but the sugar they arrive with causes damage that completely cancels out the benefit and then goes further, leaving you worse off than if you had eaten nothing at all. There is another layer to this that I find especially infuriating. Many of the yogurt brands marketed specifically to people over 60, the ones that emphasize digestive health, the ones that use words like gut balance and brain wellness on their packaging, are some of the worst offenders when it comes to added sugar. They know their audience. They know that people over 60 are actively looking for foods that support their gut and brain. So they put exactly the right words on the label, charge a higher price, and fill the container with the same sugar-loaded product that is causing the problem. Many of my patients tell me they specifically chose the more expensive yogurt because it said it was designed for digestive health. They were paying more to get the same damage with better marketing. I hear this every single week, and every time, I feel that same flash of anger that brought me to record this video. I want you to hear from another patient of mine now. She also chose to share through audio only, but she felt strongly that you needed to hear this.
My doctor told me 2 years ago that I should eat more yogurt for my digestion. So I did. I went to the store and bought the one that had the nicest packaging, the one that said it had special cultures for digestive health. It was more expensive than the regular ones, but I did not care because my health is worth it. I ate one every morning and one after dinner. For 2 years, 2 full years of eating what I thought was medicine in a cup. Last month, I forgot my own phone number, not someone else's number. My own. The number I have had for over 20 years. I was standing at the pharmacy trying to fill a prescription, and they asked for my number, and my mind went completely blank. I stood there for almost a minute, staring at the counter while people waited behind me. I wanted to crawl into a hole and disappear. That night, I told my daughter about it, and she said maybe the yogurt is not enough. Maybe I need something stronger. Nobody ever suggested that the yogurt itself might be part of the problem.
2 years of eating sweetened yogurt twice a day, believing it was medicine in a cup. That phrase keeps echoing in my mind because it captures exactly how millions of people over 60 think about this food. They treat it like medicine. They eat it faithfully. They trust the label. They never suspect that the very food they are counting on to heal them is the one making things worse. In her case, 2 servings a day meant she was consuming 30 to 50 grams of added sugar daily from yogurt alone, poured directly into a gut that was already struggling. Now I want to talk about the solution, and this is the part 1 I've been waiting to share with you because it is not about giving up yogurt. It is about finally getting from yogurt what you were promised all along. The change is simple and specific. Stop buying flavored, sweetened yogurt and switch to plain yogurt with live active cultures. That is the change. You are not removing yogurt from your life. You are removing the sugar that has been sabotaging it. Let me be very specific about what to look for and what to avoid, because the grocery store is designed to confuse you on this. When you pick up a container of yogurt, flip it over and look at the ingredient list. Real, brain-supporting yogurt has a short ingredient list. It should say milk and live active cultures. That is it. Maybe a third ingredient if it is a specific type of milk. If you see sugar, cane sugar, honey, fruit concentrate, corn syrup, or any artificial sweetener anywhere on that list, put it back. It does not matter what the front of the package says. It does not matter if it says probiotics in giant letters. It does not matter if it says designed for gut health. The front of the package is marketing. The back of the package is truth. Read the back. Now, I know what many of you are thinking. Plain yogurt tastes terrible. It is sour. It is boring. I will never enjoy it. I hear this constantly, and I completely understand it because if you have been eating strawberry or vanilla yogurt for years, plain yogurt is going to taste like a punishment at first. Here is how to make it work. Start by adding your own flavor at home using real, whole foods. A small handful of fresh blueberries or raspberries stirred into plain yogurt gives you sweetness, flavor, and fiber all at once. A few crushed walnuts or almonds add texture and healthy fats that actually support your gut lining instead of destroying it. A tiny drizzle of raw honey, and I mean tiny, half a teaspoon at most, can take the edge off the tartness while contributing almost no sugar compared to the 15 to 25 grams in a flavored cup. A sprinkle of cinnamon adds warmth and flavor without any sugar at all. What you are creating is a version of yogurt that delivers the living organisms your gut desperately needs, wrapped in real food that supports the process instead of destroying it. Let me walk you through what happens inside your body when you make this switch, because the transformation is one of the most dramatic I see in my practice. During the first week, without the daily sugar load from flavored yogurt, the aggressive organisms in your gut lose their primary fuel source. Their explosive growth slows immediately. At the same time, the living organisms in the plain yogurt you are now eating arrive in your gut without an army of sugar-fueled enemies waiting to overwhelm them. For the first time, they can actually take root. They can establish themselves, multiply, and begin producing the chemical messengers your brain has been starving for. Think of it like the difference between planting flowers in a garden full of weeds versus planting them in clean, prepared soil. Same flowers. Completely different outcome. During the second and third week, the gut lining begins to repair without the daily sugar assault eroding its progress. The gaps that were letting inflammatory particles leak through start to close. The silent inflammation that has been traveling to your brain begins to decrease. The signals reaching your brain become cleaner, stronger, more reliable. Many of my patients tell me that the change happened faster than they expected with this particular switch, often within 2 to 3 weeks rather than the usual 4. I believe this is because they went from actively damaging their gut twice a day to actively healing it twice a day. The swing from negative to positive is enormous. One person told me that after 17 days of switching to plain yogurt with berries and walnuts, she woke up on a Saturday morning and the first thing she noticed was that her head felt light. Not dizzy. Light. Like something heavy had been lifted off her brain overnight. She said she lay there for a full minute just appreciating what clarity felt like because she had forgotten. I need to be honest with you, as I always am. Yogurt is not the only factor in your gut health and brain clarity. Many things contribute, and I would never reduce something as complex as the human body to a single food. What I am telling you is that for people over 60 who eat flavored yogurt daily, believing it is helping them, this one switch is often the single most impactful change they make, because it simultaneously removes a major source of damage and introduces a major source of healing. Very few changes do both at once. If this video has opened your eyes, if it has made you want to flip over the yogurt container in your refrigerator right now and read the ingredients, I would be honored if you subscribe to this channel. Every week, Dr. Margaret Whitmore explores a different connection between your gut and your brain after 60. We look at the foods, the habits, and the quiet daily choices that shape how clearly you think, how well you remember, and how fully you live each day. Everything is shared in plain, honest language because I believe you deserve the truth, not the marketing version of the truth. There are thousands of people in this community who have had their own version of the realization you are having right now, and every single one of them is welcome here. When you subscribe, you join them, and I can promise you that this is a space built on honesty, care, and genuine respect for your intelligence. I want to close with something I hope changes what happens in your kitchen tomorrow morning. That yogurt in your refrigerator is not your enemy. The sugar inside it is. The living organisms in yogurt want to help you. They want to support your gut, send clean signals to your brain, and give you back the clarity you have been missing. They have been trying to do that job this entire time. The sugar has been stopping them. Tomorrow morning, give them a chance to actually work. Pick up a container of plain yogurt. Add a handful of berries. Sprinkle some nuts on top. Eat it slowly, and know that for the first time, every spoonful is doing what you always believed it was doing. Healing your gut, clearing the path to your brain, giving you back something you thought was gone. You did not fail by eating the wrong yogurt. You were failed by a label that told you half the story. Now you know the whole story, and that changes everything. Your gut is ready. Your brain is waiting. You are not too late. You are arriving at exactly the right moment, and the next spoonful can be the one that finally counts.